my scrappy friends, welcome to my channel. I have something really fun and special for you today. I'm going to be working on a layout that is part of a challenge for the Crafty Maven Getaway. We are doing an online crop this weekend, so if you have a chance and you want to head over to the Crafty Maven Getaway Facebook group, you will be able to see all the challenges that we will be hosting this weekend. We have stuff for tonight and stuff for tomorrow, and we're going to be doing some Google Hangouts so we can chat and scrap all at the same time and have lots of fun. So I am the first challenge for today, and my challenge for everyone in the crop and anyone who's watching, you guys are more than welcome to play along and tag me if you want so I can see the layouts that you make or projects. It doesn't necessarily just have to be a layout, but my challenge is going to be to use either non-traditional papers and colors with a Christmas photo, which is probably the easier of the two, or to take old Christmas scraps that you have left over from all your Christmas lines this year and make a non-Christmas layout with it. I'm going to be trying to do this again this weekend while we're scrapping for the weekend so that I can make another layout that also shows me using some Christmas scraps. I've been really bad this year, and some of it is because I've been on a budget and I waited till after Christmas to print off majority of my holiday or December pictures, which is fine. I mean, it kind of streamlines the process a little bit, so I'm not doing it so that I can really think through the pictures that I want to print off, which is a little bit different than what I've done in the past. But then again, I wasn't scrapping as many current photos during the season, which I've kind of missed. I'm definitely a scrapper that likes to scrap in the moment. So that was definitely a little bit different. And I still have to finish my December daily, and I'm okay with that. The fact that I don't have it done, I'll probably work on it bits and pieces. It's probably going to take me a lot longer than normal just because of all the other stuff that I want to get done this year too. So, but I will have it done before next year, and I'll make sure I share along whatever I do. So here I'm just working on some blocks. I was inspired by that wood grain photo that had the layers or the patterns, the way in which the grain of the woods went in different directions on the paper. Excuse me. And that inspired me, and I thought it would be kind of cool to do something similar like that on my background, but with different papers. So I'm kind of doing like a grid style, but in a really random way. So I'm just kind of picking different papers that I think will go together. I'm trying to pick a lot of black and whites and then use the teal colors and then some pinks, and then I have that peach color too. So I'm using quite a bit of Maggie Holmes' Gather collection, which is not Christmassy, but is kind of like fall-like. So, I mean, I guess in some ways it should work. I will say that my photo isn't, I mean, you can see the stockings in the background, but it's not overly Christmas either. So, I mean, this challenge, you can take it however you want. If you want to go really crazy and use a picture that is definitely a Christmas photo, go right ahead. Or you can, like I said, take lots of different Christmas elements from your stash that you have left over from this year and put that on the layout. I know that we've been using a lot of our stuff this year, right? And now that it's after Christmas, we probably have a lot of bits and pieces. And sometimes it's just fun to put a layout together using a lot of those bits and pieces that you have left over. You don't know what you're going to do with those scraps. So a layout like this is really good because you can use bits and pieces. It doesn't have to be big pieces. I mean, I did have to cut some of my papers, but for the most part, I use papers that were not even the full sheet. So that's always fun when you can get your stuff use up those scraps in a fun way. I also grabbed this paper from Dear Lizzie not Dear Lizzie, that's Maggie Holmes. And that is from one of her old collections. I want to say that's from Bloom. But I liked the reindeer. I thought that would kind of make it feel more Christmassy. Even though that is not a Christmas paper at all, because it's like a denim. I'm going to back this up on white, even though I already printed it with a white border. I thought that would give another layer, because I pretty much at this point realize that I'm pretty sure I don't want to overdo it with the layers around my photo, because I already have a ton of different papers and styles, right? So, and patterns. So in turn, by doing that, I'm going to try to just use embellishments and stuff mostly to add different pops of colors throughout and to tie everything together. I really liked this card that says, what does it say? Write it on your heart is what it says. And it's like with those peg type of letters or something. They're really, really fun. So I cut that down though, because it was just a smidge bit big. That's the one thing I'm not a big fan of with a lot of these die cut packs, is they have really big pieces and it's kind of hard. So if you can figure out a way to cut them down to make them work for you, that's one way to get those used up, right? Because they're fun. It's just, there's a lot of it. So I'm taking some leftover pieces that I have from Pink Paisley die cuts and stuff, and on the outsides they have these really pretty colors. So I'm just going to layer this behind the photo like really, really small, so you only see a bits of it, just a little teeny tiny bit. And this is one good way to get some of those die cut pieces used up and add a little bit of color that kind of ties things together. I thought about using that hello with the gold. It kind of adds a little bit more of a corally peach color that kind of tie in the pink and the peach that is already on my layout, but in the end I don't like it. It covers too much of those layers that I already put in. As you can see, I tried to get that glittery heart tag. I really, really, really wanted to use that tag so much. It was so hard. And as you can see, I've tried to use it like 3 times. I may even come back to it one more time. But in the end, I don't use it because I didn't want to go crazy with embellishment clusters. I already have that one near the photo. I have that one on top of the photo, and then I have that on the side of the photo. So it kind of does like this nice L. I do decide to use this pink tag, and yes, it does cover up some of those layers that I was just talking about. I didn't want to cover up too much. I could cut that down a lot more, so you only seen a little bit of the tag, where the gold one I would have had to leave most of the tag. I thought about using that tealy piece because it has the colors that are similar from the Ellie Studio strip and then part of the Gather collection, but in the end I just decided not to use it because, like I said, I didn't want to add one other cluster, and then I started thinking, oh well, that black and white paper, that area would be the perfect place to put a title, even though I already have like a, write it on your heart almost as a title. I could have definitely done that, but I decided not to. I decided to actually put a title on here. So in the end, it's going to say cute Christmas moments, but I started off with Christmas, and then I used this cute. It has black and white. I just thought it was fun. I mean, looking at it like this, it definitely doesn't stand out as much as I would have liked, but when you see it in the protector, it's not too bad. So I will say sometimes when you're looking at it upside, up, like when you're watching a process video, it looks much different than when you're looking at it like flipping through the page. And so sometimes you got to take that into, you got to think about that when you're doing your layout. So sometimes I do and sometimes I don't though. So I'm just trying to add some hearts and stuff. I want to add colors that I've used throughout. I have a lot of like some pinks, and then I added that red heart And that kind of helps tie in some of the red from the stockings in the background. If I had thought about this ahead of time, I may have done this, but I didn't think about it until later. The fact that my son is wearing a blue shirt, and I didn't really add much blue, I just have that tealy color. So maybe if I had thought about it, I would have added more of that blue, like that indigo blue color. Probably, or a sapphire type of color would have looked really nice, though I don't know how many papers I actually have that have those colors in them, as opposed to, like, because I didn't get a lot of the fall stuff that had those colors in them. So yeah, I'm just trying to use up the stuff that I have, because I have a lot of stuff from, like, the fall lines that kind of came out, and so I'm just trying to use that stuff up. I mean, I think that we sometimes forget that, you know, because it's a Christmas layout, we can't just use whatever we have. So, which is why I did the challenge the way that I did, or that you could, you know, use up some of the last bits of your Christmas stuff. So, this is almost done. I'm just going to do some outlining around some of the blocks to make it look like stitching, since I don't have a sewing machine, but that is on my list of things to get this year to save up for that. I used some white on some of them, and this is a Uniball pen, and I really like that this white. For the most part, it works decently well. So I have one that is actually from Japan and one that's from United States. So I think the one from Japan works a little bit better, just in my opinion. I don't know if it's just me, though. And then I did use some black on some of them, and I left some of them just plain. So I just kind of wanted to make it random and unique, but fun. And I did use staples on some of those corners, as you can see them lift up. And I really like the way that this turned out. It's really, really fun. And this picture of my kids is just so cute. This is one of my favorite photos of my kids from Christmas that I took. I have one of them making really funny faces, which I also like, and I would like to do a layout about that too, but, you know, they're just so cute. I hope you guys join the challenge. I hope you guys go check out the Crafty Maven Getaway Facebook group so you can see the challenges that are going on this weekend, and we will see you guys later. Bye!